Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Celeste Garcia, and in today's video I want to talk about auctions versus buy it now on eBay. Okay, so when I decide to do auctions versus buy it now, and this is solely based on my own experience, so please remember that when watching this video. Okay, so let's get started with auctions. Okay, so there are several reasons why I decide to choose auctions over buy it now. One of the reasons is because I have a high demand item. And you know you have a high demand item because when you look at the comps, the sold comps, you realize that there are more sold items than listed. Okay, for example, you might have something that, you know, there are 10 active listings and 50 have sold. Okay, that means that there are not enough items to meet the demand. Okay, and which is good. If you remember supply and demand, that's really good because, you know, you can use it to your advantage. Okay, so I would list these items in an auction because that means buyers are more likely to compete over these items, which is good because, you know, they're going to give you the top dollar. Okay, they're going to give you the most money. Okay, the second reason why I list in an auction is because items have flaws. And I've told you this before that, you know, I shop at the bins, I shop at thrift stores, and, you know, sometimes items have flaws, you know, and so that's not a deal breaker for me. I look at the style, I look at the brand, and if they happen to have small flaws, I sometimes still pick them up because, you know, some still have a good resale value. Okay, so they might have, you know, a tiny hole, a light stain, maybe missing button. So I still pick them up thinking I'm going to place them in an auction and I'm just going to try to get as much out of it as I can. Okay, a good example of this strategy that I did recently are these Lululemon leggings. These Lululemon leggings I showed you in the previous video, and they're in really great condition except for they have some peeling here and a tiny hole. Now they're still in really great shape. I made sure that I took really good pictures of it. I listed the flaws in the description so that the buyer knows, so it's not a surprise for them. And they're actually currently for sale now. And I started the auction at 99 cents and they're at $31 right now. So I will keep you posted on how much they sell for, but things still sell with flaws. Okay, so one of the other reasons why I like to list in an auction style is because I just want to sell an item fast. Okay, so yes, I can list it as a buy it now, but usually when I list at an auction, I feel like it gives that buyer that urgency to purchase that item because they have 7 days to, you know, purchase it. Although I have to say that eBay has 1-day auctions, 3-day auctions, 5-day auctions, and 7-day auctions. They do charge for the 1 and 3-day auction. I'm not sure about the 5-day auction. So I have to check that, but you know, it gives that buyer that urgency that, you know, I have these amount of days to buy it versus, you know, if you have it as a buy it now, sometimes they you know, might like it, might watch it, and they might leave it for another day. Okay, so that's a reason. You could definitely use this feature. You can definitely use auctions to start your items low with like a 99 cent starting price, or you can also use it as a way to, you know, take the least that you will take. So for example, I have these Gymshark high-waist joggers that I listed at an auction, and these are in pretty great shape. They're a bit faded, and that's why I put them at an auction, but I started it at $15. They're pretty pricey, and so I started at 15 so that, you know, at least I get 15. That's the least I'll take. Okay, so that's another strategy. These actually sold yesterday for $22.50, so that was it worked out for that particular item. Okay, and then the last reason why is because, you know, maybe you've had an item for so long and you've had it for as a buy it now price, and it has no watchers and it has no views or very little views, and you just want to get rid of it at this point. You know, you realize that you made a bad choice when picking that up, and so you're gonna take it as a lesson learned. So I do that because as a last resort to try to get this item sold before I donate it back. Okay, so I do have to say that sometimes when I've done this strategy, the item sells for more than I actually had it listed as a buy it now. eBay surprises you sometimes. So now let's talk about the buy it now option. Okay, I have several reasons why I use buy it now, and they're essentially the same reasons as why I use auctions, but with different arguments. So the first reason is because it's a high demand item. Okay, now I could auction it, but I can also use the buy it now option, because if I don't mind not knowing when it's going to sell, if I don't mind waiting, then that's also a good option. Buy it now option, the high demand items might also work because you can set your own price. You can decide how much you want for the item. If there aren't many for sale, then you can practically decide how much you want to sell the item for, as long as it's a reasonable price when looking at sold comps and all that. Okay, so a good example of this is in my previous video when I sold those vintage 512 high-waisted jeans made in the USA. There are not many of those jeans. So I was able to set my price, and so remember I said that I kind of overpriced them. I listed them at $99.99, and so I took a best offer for $78.50, and so that's how much I sold them for, because there weren't many others for sale in that same size and in that same style. Okay, so that's one reason why you might decide to use a buy it now. Another reason why I decide to use the buy it now feature is when I have an item and there are similar or several of the same item. Okay, for example, I have this Patagonia vest, fuzzy vest. Okay, when I was doing the listing, I was looking at the active listings and the solds. They were selling for about $40 to $50, I would say, on average, and there were 3 others for sale in the same exact size, the same exact color. So if I list it, I'm just gonna be another listing. In most, I think they were listed for $39.99 plus shipping. So, if I listed for the same amount, then I'm just going to be another listing sitting there, okay? And I don't want to be another listing. I want to beat out my competition. So, in order to do that, I have to be smart. I have to, price a little bit lower than they do, or, using a different strategy. So, what I did was I listed it for $39.99, added the best offer option, and said plus shipping. Okay, so now if somebody wants my item, they're probably and they're looking for that same item, they're going to see all of them, and they're probably going to buy the cheapest one as long as they're in the same condition. And that's exactly what happened. I listed this item on Saturday, and it sold yesterday through best offer. I took an offer of $35. So I don't mind taking a few dollars less, as long as my item sells quicker than everybody else's. I'm fine with that. Okay, so that's another way why I decide to use buy it now when there are several of my same item listed, and if I just add it, I'm just gonna be another listing, which I don't, and it could sit forever. Okay, and I just want to say that buy it now works. You can set your own price. You don't have to add a best offer option. You could, just say no offers. And it works because I did it for some time. But you don't know when you're going to sell your item. It could take a day, it could take 2 days, it could take weeks, it could take months. So that's one reason why you have to be careful with these buy it nows. Another thing that I do want to say about auctions is that for some reason I realized that eBay likes auctions. So I use this to my advantage. If you have auctions ending in a day, then more customers are going to be redirected to your page, to your store, and so that, you know, more buyers in your store could possibly potentially lead to more sales. Okay, so think of that. So for me, I like to have auctions ending almost every day, if not every other day, because, you know, that means that I will have more eyes on my store, okay, which in turn could lead to more sales. Okay, so one other tip about auctions is to make sure that you're ending these auctions at a time where people are actually, you know, up, people are actually might be shopping. So I wouldn't end an auction at like 3 a.m. because, you know, most people would be sleeping. I would probably like to end auctions, you know, at lunchtime, maybe in the afternoon, in the evening, because, you know, most people will be shopping. Most people will be, you know, at home. So think of that when you're ending auctions, because, you know, that also, because a lot of people like to bid those last minutes that the auction is up, so that might help you and to sell your item for a higher amount. So I want to end this video by letting you know that, again, remember, this is my personal opinion, and so what works for me might not work for you, but, you know, I'm happy to share my tips to help you. But, you know, if you're a beginner, I wouldn't be afraid to try things, you know, as long as you learn from your mistakes. You know, try new things, you know, have fun with it. And take those mistakes as lessons learned, and, you know, just move on, because you will learn by your mistakes and you will get better. Okay. So let me know in the comments, what is your go-to strategy? Do you use auctions? Do you use buy it now? What is your favorite way to sell on eBay? Okay, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.